Well, hello again. Another yes or no question. This one is: should I visit India? Probably not too relevant a question at the moment in the midst of the coronavirus problem, but in any case, India is not on the safe to visit list of the Foreign Office at the moment because they've got quite a big problem with the coronavirus themselves. But in better times, it certainly is a touring option. So let's go through the good and the bad. Okay, first of all, yes. Is it a good place to visit? Should I visit India? Yes, yes. Okay. I guess most obviously it is a truly different, diverse, exotic, exciting place. There's always something going on. The place never seems to even slow down. You're completely immersed in the culture of the place, the history of the Raj, all of that sort of thing. It's all around you, and if you know anything at all about about the history of the 20th century in particular, there's a lot to see that you can connect with in your head. Next, street food is terrific. Very cheap, very diverse. Obviously, to most people's tastes, delicious, tasty. It's a lot of food and a lot of fun, and there is opportunity everywhere you go. They're out there selling their wares. Next, the people are really, by and large, quite a friendly, hospitable country, better than a lot of other countries that I could think of. The comparison is often made with Latin America, where such really, I'm afraid, is not the case. A friendly welcome, subject to a few provisos that I'll come to later. And it's really safer than most places. I think that it's unlikely that you'll get into too much difficulty. Mugging and that sort of thing in the street is less likely than other places, pickpocketing and so forth. So reasonably benign atmosphere. Well, what are some of the negative observations? Most of all, I guess, it's dirty. The kind of hygiene and cleanliness that we tend to expect in the West really doesn't exist in India. If you eat in a restaurant, I suggest you not go into the kitchen. You're not going to like what you see. The standards are different, and because your immune system is not geared up for it, you're probably going to get sick. And unless you're extremely careful and go by all the rules about only eat peeled fruit and all that kind of thing, that's definitely a problem. Second, for some, the chaos and the excitement translates into a din, a never-ending loud cacophony of street sounds that can be wearing after a while. Another thing is that the poverty is everywhere in evidence. You'll frequently be approached if you're on the street by beggars, often demonstrating a maimed child as part of their marketing pitch. Really quite a depressing process to have to go through. The air, for the most part, is dreadful. In Delhi, it's the worst in the world, even worse than Beijing. I read somewhere once that the level of bad stuff in the air is often in Delhi 40 times the acceptable limit is set by the World Health Organization. It's really pretty grim. As you walk down the street, you'll often be hustled by scam artists, by beggars, by people trying to sell you something. You get jostled, pushed, not at all times intentionally, but because the streets are so crowded. I remember I was walking through Calcutta many years ago, and I looked down a street, and I wondered to myself, what's the big crowd doing down there? And then I looked down another street, and there was another big crowd on that street, and so forth and so on. There are just big crowds everywhere. People are just teeming, and it's something I guess we're not used to, but that's just part of the drill there. But that can become a bit wearing as well. What we would normally expect as service in hotels, restaurants, perhaps taxis and so forth, is by and large a far lower standard than we're used to. You can't really depend on a promised time or that an arrangement will be made as you've agreed with someone. It is a bit unreliable, which I guess goes with the chaotic nature of the place. If you're a woman, oh dear, quite likely to be harassed, dare I say, pinched, groped, that kind of thing. Not an uncommon thing. I guess it happens elsewhere, but a lot more in India. Somehow culturally, men kind of take that as a standard way of operating and nothing to be ashamed of, really. And then finally, you're going to have a lot of shots. There is disease in India that we Westerners may not be well equipped to fend off, and the advice, of course, varies all the time depending on where you're going to be going, what kind of state of health you're in, and so forth. But you definitely have to check this out well in advance of any trip to India. Okay, well, for all of that, what's my take? Well, I guess my view is that it is a very exciting place. It is a real insight into the past and into a culture that is so dramatically different from the one that we're used to, that it is quite an experience to see it. But that's when you're young. At my age, it's just too much of a hassle. I'm just not interested. I'm not going to go back. It's really just a bit too difficult. We have a friend, quite a affluent gentleman, who went with his son-in-law, and they did sort of the Maharaja tour, where they went from just one luxurious experience to another. Well, what's the point of that? I mean, I suppose you can say, I decided to visit a country called Rich India or something, but I wouldn't have thought that really kind of ticks all the boxes, as it were. So anyway, that's my take. A lot of disadvantages, but an exciting place to visit. Up to you. Okay, well, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like if you liked it. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you at the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.